Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about California, a city in California, cracking down on what is their most crucial problem. And no, we're not talking about homeless encampments. No, we're not talking about open-air drug markets. No, we're not talking about crime. No, we're not talking about retail theft or anything of the sort. We're talking about highly illegal, highly disturbing beach yoga classes. Classes of yoga on the beach. This is what they're shutting down and ticketing and arresting people for in the city of San Diego. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who signed up over at actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And remind you that this show is available in podcast form, linked in the description.
This area would be filled with mats and people practicing yoga, but today that's not the case. That's because the city is tightening regulations and cracking down on outdoor yoga classes.
Now, first things first, right off the top, I just want to say that the topic is yoga. This lady looks like she's some kind of South Asian, possibly Indian, and therefore, I'm gonna call racism on this whole situation. Shame on you, local affiliate down in San Diego. Shame on me for likely being wrong and not even looking up this person's name before I made this ridiculous assumption. But yeah, I can't believe that they're doing this. How dare you? Hey guys, editing Sean, and I just want to point out that I am fully aware at this moment in time that this woman's last name is Perez. Esmeralda Perez is in fact her name, and that sounds pretty Latino. But honestly, based on my great knowledge of San Diego, I'm gonna double down on the South Asian thing, because obviously there's no Latinos in San Diego. It's not like it's borders Mexico or anything.
At the sound of crashing waves, it's an empty area at Sunset Cliffs where stretching and relaxation would be in full effect. But recent updates to the city code tighten restrictions on outdoor yoga classes.
So right off the top, I do want to say that San Diego is a bit different than other California cities, and they don't experience the same level of the same problems as a Los Angeles or as a San Francisco when it comes to crime or when it comes to issues with homeless people. They tend to be a bit better managed than the rest of the state, in my opinion, from what I have gleaned. So maybe, just maybe, things are going so well in San Diego, things are so perfect that the thing that they can focus on is these outdoor classes. But they do an interview from an individual that's actually in and around this area, and he has an absolutely crucial point to make, and I just want to highlight that because I do think that there is something to this.
It's kind of absurd, like anything health and wellness based, especially free, like why would the city feel a need to shut down?
So he highlights two things right there. First and foremost, they are so quick, so ready to crack down on something that is health and wellness related. And honestly, I cannot help but point out the hypocrisy in this particular situation. Because remember, during the pandemic, California was one of the worst states in the union in terms of lockdowns. Gavin Newsom was shutting down all these different various restaurants, except of course for the ones that he went to, the ones that he enjoyed. He was shutting down vineyards as well, except of course for the vineyard that his family was connected to because, you know, he's Gavin Newsom. And they would actually do crazy things like bring in construction workers to dump sand on different parts of playgrounds that were in and around the beach, and also enforce bans on people going to the beach. Even though outdoor transmission was not really a thing, getting outside, getting some sunlight, not being trapped in your house was not only good for your mental health, but it was also good for your physical health. So what we're seeing is a pattern of behavior from the busybodies in California right here, where they are cracking on stuff related to wellness. On top of that, did you catch that he mentioned that these classes are often offered for free?
It's kind of absurd, like anything health and wellness based, especially free.
And this also really gets on my nerves, because when you think about it, what are some of the things that the American people are desperately in need of? First and foremost, community. People to come together. There's a friendship crisis in this country. We talked on this channel previously about the different issues in terms of relationships, but those relationship issues are not just related to the romantic realm. They spring out and also touch on a bunch of other different various things, including friendship issues. And you know what? Something common that people can share, something that builds community, something that doesn't cost anything, should be one of those things that people can come together, meet other people, associate with other people, and if you're doing so in a way that promotes some level of physical physical fitness that you would think would be something that the very health-conscious state of California would be interested in. However, it appears that they passed a new regulation as of late to crack down on certain activities in relation to the beach, and in that regulation, it appears that there are specific things that they were targeting, including outdoor exercise routines and specifically yoga.
Austin Kalstenberg showed up this morning with his mat on hand when he quickly realized yoga class wasn't going to be in session.
People from different communities coming together for their health and wellness.
Now look, I gotta be perfectly honest with everybody out there in the audience. I love the local news. I appreciate the local news. I have a special place in my heart, which is somewhere around Nya, for the local news. That being said, their staging of these particular news segments is so funny to me. Do you genuinely believe that they just happened to set up the camera here and this guy, who happened to later on agree to an interview, went out and decided to partially unroll his yoga mat before realizing that the class wasn't in session when this place is completely empty? Absolutely not. They asked him to do this. They said this would look great for the B-roll, and he decided that he was going to comply with that. And for most people, what we have right here is some interesting looking B-roll that visually represents the idea that the news is trying to convey. But what I have right here is somebody from behind the camera telling a regular, ordinary civilian to do something for his own entertainment, and this guy doing so even though he looks ridiculous, and they're not going to help him roll up his yoga mat. I just find this to be a little bit cringe-inducing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, think about what went behind the creation of this shot. Think about the masterminds behind the camera that are puppeteering individuals who just want to have a free yoga class.
Inhale, just the arms go forward.
Jackie Kowalik had been teaching donation-based classes of yoga at Sunset Cliffs on and off since 2017. She says it's a space of belonging and peace.
We got shut down on last Wednesday, and since then it has just been a full-blown community effort to make it clear to anybody that will listen to us that these classes are important.
Now look, it would be one thing if San Diego decided, hey, you know what? You guys are there all the time, 24/7, and we want to clear up these beaches for other people. And even though you say you're donation-based and you don't actually charge every single individual that participates in the class, in reality, in actuality, you're running a business under a different banner, and we need to get our pound of flesh. We need to extract our tax dollars from you, because we all know in the state of California, you're just not taxed enough. But the thing is, there's no real alternative solution offered to this. When you look at the ordinance that is put forward by the city of San Diego, they just said, leave, get out of here. You should get a permit if you want to do a yoga and or fitness class, because of course you need permission from the city in order to do something fitness related in a group of people in California, because God forbid we ever let people do anything like that on a public beach that's open to the public. But it actually is even more absurd because you can't get a permit for this particular area.
San Diego officials made updates to the city code that prohibits businesses from operating beach events. They tightened the language to list yoga, fitness classes, and other activities as a service. The updated code took effect towards the end of March.
So right there, as you heard, they specifically updated this code in order to include yoga and fitness classes and all these other things as a service that was not previously included. So yes, this ordinance was changed to target these people.
They have these park rangers that are going out and intimidating people and ticketing people. There's just a ticket written today against one of the yoga gatherings in Pacific Beach.
And that's one of the craziest things about this particular case. You're in a situation where you're deploying the sheriffs in order to ticket people for these unauthorized fitness events all over the city. You're empowering the Parks Department to do so. And this is likely because the state of California is desperate for revenue. And this is a mechanism in which the city can conduct this revenue enforcement, revenue generation. And of course, they're targeting the fitness people. And by the way, if you're living in San Diego, which is supposedly one of the nicest places in the United States to live in terms of geographically, in terms of weather and all that, part of the benefit of that is you want to go out, you want to get fit, you want to look better, you want to be healthier. So the idea that they would basically institute another separate tax on that, to me, is absurd in every possible way. And the fact of the matter is, this is completely targeted against these particular groups because they just want to extract revenue from them. And to be fair to them, there may be some obstructions. And also, this has the California, we don't like capitalism all that much. We're going to go after businesses that appear to be escaping regulation at this point, because you couldn't have that. You couldn't have you getting a fitness lesson, you doing yoga with a group of people without the government putting their thumb on on the scale without them extracting their pound of flesh. That would be chaos. That would be anarchy, according to the San Diego city officials.
In a statement, the city says in parts, quote, "The city of San Diego's municipal code prohibits groups consisting of 4 or more people engaged in commercial recreational activities like yoga, fitness classes, and dog training from gathering in parks without a permit and can only operate in certain designated areas."
Again, what manner of nonsense is this? You need a permit in order to gather in groups of 4 for commercial and or recreational activities, and this includes yoga, fitness. This also includes dog stuff, dog training or whatever. Who cares about that? Honestly, I'm sure some people out there in the audience definitely do. And to me, this is a little bit ridiculous because if you are an actual dog trainer and you want to go to a public park in order to socialize the dogs, you have to get a permit from the city of San Diego in order to participate in that. If you're doing something exercise related, you want people to join in, all of a sudden you're doing an unauthorized physical exercise recreational activity and the city needs to crack down on you and you need to get that permit. But like I said earlier on in the video and will be revealed to you right here, they don't issue the permits.
You know, we have asked and said, great, we'll get a permit. Where are the permits? And they just close the door in our face.
A public information clerk for the Parks and Recreations Department tells CBS 8 that the department offers fitness and yoga permits at a first-come, first-served for parks like Bonita Cove and Sky Beach. The city does not offer permits at Sunset Cliff.
And that's really where I come down against the city of San Diego right here, because they say, you know what, we're going to ticket the hell out of you because you're doing an unauthorized gathering in a public place, public park, public beach, while 4 or more people doing exercise, how dare you, or recreational activity. Again, how dare you, without a permit. And if you want to continue doing this, you need to get said permit. So here you have these people saying, okay, we'll go get the permit. And they find out that they don't issue permits for this place. So you're being ticketed for gathering for not having a permit. And that permit doesn't actually exist in many of these circumstances. Again, this is just blanket extortion, revenue generation from the city of San Diego. If you want to set up one of these annoying permitting regimes, which by the way, there are far too many of them across the country, far too many things that you require a damn permit for, you would think that these lazy city officials would actually, create a permit that these people can actually gain. But no, that's not what they're trying to do. This is an extortion scheme. They intend to extort them. And by the way, I just want to point out, this whole first come, first served basis in terms of the yoga permits also leads to a bunch of different various problems. You see, when you give out permits like this and you don't actually have an unlimited amount, what you end up dealing with is that people will get the yoga permit, they'll end up selling it to other people because they got online first, and we've actually seen this phenomenon in different various things, including with radio signals for radio stations. Essentially, this was the old school domain squatting from the 90s, from the .com bubble, and we're seeing it being recreated artificially in the city of San Diego, which would be a problem on its own for the places that actually have permits available. But again, these people can't even get the permits because they don't issue them. So they're being ticketed once again for not having a permit that doesn't exist. There's no way to get it. It doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense because what they want is for you to pay the ticket. How dare you once again dare try to do yoga in a group of 4 or more people? You absolute scumbags. Go inside, eat the slop, gain weight, don't enjoy the sun. It's for your health, it's for your wellness, and it's for the cultural diversity of the city. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I just made that last part up, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is yoga demonic, and is San Diego actually enforcing a crusade against this type of deal? Or is this some kind of scheme, scam for revenue like I outlined before? And do you agree with me? If you like this video, then show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. Why am I so excited? I'm not really this excited. Till next time. I am this excited.